Hello, this is Deborah with Black Education TV, and I'm going to be talking about the dangers of certain hair care products for black women in particular. I've been meaning to talk about this for years now because it was years ago that we decided to start making our own hair care products and skincare products as well. We've been doing so for years, and I refuse to put these other items on my skin, on my hair, on my body, because there's something that I had taken note of a long time ago. I saw something online that kind of struck me, and it wasn't necessarily a bad thing, but it was the wording. And with me knowing how things are in this country, I just kind of said, those are very interesting words to me. And the statement that I heard and I saw online, it said that these particular products were specially formulated for black hair. Specially formulated for black hair. Now, most of you may say, well, what's wrong with that? But from my perspective, I said, well, we know these are not natural products. Okay. I knew they weren't natural. And then I said, okay, now who is doing the formulation of these products specifically for black hair? It's not a person who has black hair. So it's a Gentile, a person who doesn't even have our hair texture. So what are you specifically formulating for black hair? I got very suspicious. Now, here lately, I've been seeing a lot of videos and articles actually talking about some of these formulations that they've come up with. And so I was right in my assessment or assumption that this formula that they've come up with is not good for us. I mean, to me, it was just obvious, because you have people who don't even have our hair texture specially formulating something for our hair. Okay, so here recently we've been seeing a lot of articles and videos where they're talking about this particular product does this to black women's, not just their hair. It's not just these items are not just affecting your hair or its texture or anything of that nature, but it's affecting your insides as well. It's causing sicknesses and other kinds of things, cancers, because you have to remember these chemicals are going down into your brain. They're going down into your skin. You see, even for things that you put on your body, you have to be very careful. And this is why, again, we make our own products, and we have for many years now. I just don't trust these products out here as far as, putting on my hair and my skin, and have chosen to take the time to make our own. You see, if we can all just get to the point where we're doing that with our food as well, where we don't have to get much of anything. I do realize that some things we're going to have to buy out there, but you buy as best as you can. But if we can get to the point where we're making much of our own food, whether we're growing it or getting it from a reliable source of someone who is growing their own food, then we'd be much better off, you see. But this whole thing with black skin care and hair care products, I think at this point we need to be careful. Black women especially, because black women are so into their hair. They're buying products that are, a lot of money. And thankfully, we're starting to see a large boom in natural hair. I'm glad to see that. We are all natural in this house. We cut out the perms a long time ago. Here recently, I chopped off my locks because I wanted to start over fresh. And so some of you have noticed that. But yes, I chopped off my locks, and now I just have, well, I didn't chop them off. I took them down. Okay. But I'm starting a whole other natural hair journey in which we still use our own products. And I'm growing my hair back out to do other styles. And all of my girls are locked up as far as their hair goes. And our two youngest sons have locks as well. This is the journey that we all started a long time ago. First of all, with my children, with my girls, I never really was the kind of mom to perm their hair. I think we may have permed their hair once or twice, maybe twice. I can't even remember that second time, but at the most 2 times in their whole lives. And I decided early on, I said, you know what, I'm not doing this to my girls. I'm not putting these perms in their hair anymore, because I know that this stuff can't be good. Anything that you have to get out in 20 minutes before it burns your scalp is just not good for you. So we stopped perming a long time ago. And so we've been on the natural hair journey for a long time. And this is where we belong. This is our hair. Like it or not, this is our hair. Personally, I love our hair because this is how Yah made us. This is what he made us, you see. I'm not sure if I'll go back with the locks at some point, but for now I'm exploring just a regular, just my regular hair and twist or whatever. I decide pull it back or whatever. And of course my head dresses, my head wraps or whatever it is I wear on my hair at the time. That's what I'm exploring, you see, and that is my prerogative. We are natural women, and we're going to keep our hair that way in this house. And I would suggest that all of you do the same. Any products that you put on your hair, get from a reliable source that is not putting chemicals into the hair care products, because when you have something that is naturally formulated for black hair that's not made by so-called black people, you have to question it. This is where a lot of sicknesses come from. They're putting things, again, a lot of these articles are talking about what is happening to our women. Some of them are losing their hair because of these products. Some of them are getting sick because of these products, getting various cancers and tumors and all kinds of things. And so we don't need to play this game anymore. It is a matter of life and death. So we're responsible for taking care of ourselves. For too long we've depended on those outside of us to take care of us, and we need to stop with that dependency. There are so many natural products that you can use on your hair that you don't need to buy these things. Even some that they claim, well, just hear this. When it says specially formulated for black hair, look at the products, the ingredients on the back. Even though it may have a person's picture on the bottle or the jar or the box or whatever, look at the chemicals that are going into these products. You have to look at that. You can't just look at the fact that they say it's made for African hair or African American hair or all of this kind of stuff. You can't look at that, because these chemicals were not meant to be in our hair or on our skin. And so we've got to start looking out for ourselves and to stop taking the quick, lazy route or believing everything that they are telling us. I mean, they're telling us one thing, like even with our shampoo, we make our own shampoo. And a lot of this stuff is not as difficult as it seems. You see, we've been made to believe that everything is so hard and so difficult, so I'm just going to snatch something off the shelf. And, a lot of this stuff, it may smell good. They put all this good smelling stuff in it. But at the end of the day, is it good for you? That's what really matters. Is it good for you? And I think not. So with that, family, let's start taking more control over what we are using on our bodies, giving to our children, using on their hair, putting on their skin. We can take more control of those things. We're no longer slaves to those types of things. You see, in this country, we've developed such a dependency that is frightening, that everything we get, our food, our water, everything. I mean, there's such a dependency that most of our people would not survive without the convenience. And I know that we're not 100% there. We are not, family. So right now I feel vulnerable. And so I know a lot of people feel vulnerable because we're like, what are we supposed to do? And the fact that we have to ask that question proves that we've got a lot of work to do. We've got a lot of work to end this dependency, because if it all shuts down, or is no longer available, what will you do? Will you lay down and die? Family, we've got to take better control of our situations, because this existence we have is just not a good look for us. We are like dependent children on a system that hates us, okay? So let's get it together, family. I love you, and shalom.